hear a busy tongue. And I see a busy bobcat tail. And I'm truthfully so pleased to see and hear a busy tongue and a busy bobcat. This is Bobcat Buddy. He's one of our wonderful rescued residents living here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And Buddy can a little bit more, kind of be more selective about, his time in the limelight. And when I'm able to catch him on live posts and photos and things like that, I never knock any of our rescues for living life how they see fit. And Buddy's definitely one of those cats who he has his own regime. He has his own agenda, and he sure gets plenty of time out in his outdoor space, plenty of time in his bungalow. But boy, oh boy, is he good at eluding the paparazzi here. So glad to spend some time with Buddy on this Monday morning. Right over in the neighboring habitat, we will go over and visit with Meeko and Ripley, who just had some fresh enrichment placed in their habitat. So it's going to be a good old live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And I got some hellos to do as Bobcat Buddy works away at that puzzle feeder. I love just looking at that tail go. You can think and imagine just as active as that tail is Buddy's mind. He's trying to figure out how to get every last one of those morsels from that puzzle feeder. And it stimulates him physically as you see him walking around, and that mental stimulation, as I just mentioned. So it is just an awesome, awesome thing here. But let's say hello to some folks. Kathy Barton, good morning. Hey, Kathy, happy Monday. Krista Christensen's here saying hello to the folks. Hey, Krista. Belinda Dissinger, hi. Judson and keyboard dancer. Hey, Belinda. Marcy Sanborn here. Who else is here? Tanya Toner, our neighbor in Wisconsin. Carrie Miller. Hey, Susan Mensa, saying hi to Buddy as well. I appreciate that. Mr. Buddy is a good Bob. And like I mentioned, we might not see Buddy as much on social media as we like. But if you were to ask Buddy, he'd say, I think you're getting just the right amount of me. And here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, for many of our rescues' lives, for the first time in their lives, rather, they have the ability to make choices. And Buddy's story I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. For a cat like Buddy to understand the amenities that come with living wild at heart, you have an indoor space, you have an outdoor space with all types of areas to seclude and kind of duck out of cover, tall grass, perches, platforms, things like that. And Buddy he's no stranger to that and loves taking advantage of it and loves kind of creating a day that is all his own. And one thing, as you can tell, Buddy certainly loves food time, just like many of our rescues, but glad that he still enjoys his strong sense of independence. What do you think, Mr. Bud? And I admit, you have the cutest little mug, Buddy. I just love that face of yours. And if we were to talk about Buddy's story, Buddy was rescued along with, some of you may remember, Kisa Marie. It was Buddy, the Bobcat, and Kisa Marie, a Eurasian lynx, with Buddy and Kisa Marie both being senior or geriatric at the time. Their rescue would have taken place 2 springs ago. This was a situation where Buddy and Kisa Marie were being privately owned. They were being owned legally. Buddy and Kisa Marie were receiving vet care. They had proper housing. It was Elise and I who went on the rescue. I got to see where they lived. And yeah, Buddy and Kisa Marie lived an adequate life. But one thing still we talk about when it comes to the ownership of these exotic cats and the medium exotic cats, now that we have the passage of the Big Cat Public Safety Act, prohibiting the ownership of big cats. But with these small cats, one thing that can happen is, yes, they're owning them legally, but life circumstances can change. This individual was moving, and she was moving to a state where it was illegal to own a bobcat, illegal to own a lynx, and these pets that she had and that she was owning legally and that she very much loved, Elise and I were the ones who picked them up. We were giving her big hugs. She was having a pretty heavy day thinking about all that was going into losing these 2 animals that she loved. And we do not discredit the relationship that she had with these cats, but it's always worth acknowledging that even if you are owning these types of animals legally, that zoning laws can change, and obviously life circumstances can change. You never know what's going to happen if you're being called to move across the country to care for a family member, your job, or what have you. Buddy and Kisa Marie are an example of that, as well as Shadow, Callie, Caesar, and Logan, good examples of when people are owning these cats legally, just, you know, how unpredictable life can be, and that will still throw these wildcats into flux and put them in need for rescue. And we're happy, Mr. Buddy, that you get to kind of have an extended compassionate life. You're receiving compassionate care in your former life, and we're happy to follow suit and make sure that you're receiving that same love here at the Wildcat Sanctuary as you did in your previous home. But Buddy is busy as a bee, and I'm glad that we got to talk about his story. We got to check in on him and see just how wonderful he's doing. He's got a big old winter coat on, even though winter has not been too much of a winter this year. And Buddy has been, you know, I think we've maybe mentioned, and maybe as we've seen on a live post, he, you know, is certainly interested in his neighbors. That's Meeko and Ripley, who have moved across the way. And Buddy just being, you know, not overly interested in them, and certainly not, you know, kind of overexerting himself and tiring himself out trying to get those Lynx attention. But it's definitely been catching his eye here and there, and but nonetheless, Buddy's still getting his own me time and isn't getting himself too worked up. But at that, speaking of Lynx, I think I might look over to caretaker Elise, and perhaps it's time to see what Meeko and Ripley are up to.
Yeah, they're just finishing their drumsticks. So.
Okay, well, even better. So Elise, so obviously during these times we shifted Buddy out of his habitat. We shifted the Lynx out of their habitats. Caretakers were in there cleaning. Caretakers were in there placing new enrichment. And then we're also going to take that opportunity. If Meeko and Ripley are shifted inside their bungalow and shift, they're going to get their meal for the day. So it sounds like they're just wrapping up their meal. And then it's going to be access to their free-roaming habitat for a day of fresh enrichment and just good old cat fun. What do you think, Mr. Buddy? Yeah, I love seeing that curious little face of yours. You have such a curious little face. Christine Albertson checking in from a rainy California. It's been pretty wet out west, hasn't it? Jeannie Curry, just as I was thinking to myself, saying, Buddy is so handsome. He certainly is. Beautiful Buddy, saying Christine. And the rest in paradise to Faith, to Kisa Marie. I couldn't agree more. And that was one of kind of the circumstances that led us to saying yes to Bobcats, or to Bobcat Buddy and Kisa Marie, is that they were senior geriatric cats, and that these cats, you know, might not have a chance anywhere else. And for us to be able to say yes to them and ensure that in kind of those golden years that they're going to be receiving the type of care and support that they need as senior geriatric cats, you know, it's a big shout out to you, our supporters, who still back us up when we say yes to rescues like that. It's something that, you know, we know what we're doing. We know that we're rescuing a senior geriatric cat. We know that they might not be with us for long, but we know that we can do the best for that cat in the time that's given to us. So it's certainly worth acknowledging that when we do these senior geriatric rescues. And I can think of Japino, I think of Sultania. Super awesome. What do you think, Mr. Buddy? And I've been kind of zoomed in on Buddy here. I can back out. This Buddy's got an awesome space here. You can see.
Ripley looks like she's ready for stuff.
That's Elise calling out that it seems like Bobcat Ripley, and I'm not surprised between Ripley and Meeko that Ripley is going to be the first one to jump into their habitat. But here's Buddy. That fencing you see in the back is that shared wall. It's going to be a shared wall between Meeko and Ripley and Mr. Buddy here. Buddy's got this whole space to himself, perches, platforms. I love these little kind of recycled culverts that many of the cats love using. And of course, attached to his outdoor space is his indoor space. Everybody's smart to take advantage of that. So, Mr. Buddy, let's get one more zoom in on you. And then I think the Lynx are making their way out. And it looks like you still have some tuna scattered on top of that puzzle feeder, as well as I think some chicken chunks inside of that puzzle feeder as well. Nancy Hodel getting excited about how happy Buddy is about his puzzle feeder. And Nancy, I hope I don't embarrass you, but you stand as a TWS super fan because I saw you in the live chat for the Watch Wildcats cam that's happening right now on our YouTube channel. The Ukraine Pride is live for their Watch Wildcats debut, and I saw you commenting there, and here you are on Facebook commenting. So you get your TWS Superfan badge for the day. And a reminder to everyone that Monday through Friday, every single weekday, from 10 a.m. Central Time to 5 p.m. Central Time, we will be doing a live stream from watchwildcats.com. That's our YouTube channel of various habitats here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. And we will rotate those habitats on a weekly basis. So would have been Sophie and Gino last week, and the Ukraine Pride are up to deck this week. And I couldn't be more excited about that. And sorry, Nancy, for kind of blowing up your spot there, but I love the double dipping as I was using last week. I'm loving it. Yeah, you are just the handsomest man, Mr. Buddy. All right. I'm going to make my way over.
Yeah, it looks like they're ready to go, Judson.
Yeah, I hear and see some excitement happening, but that's right as Buddy says, well, now watch me show off some strength and drag my puzzle feeder around.
I'm impressed with his persistence. Some cats are not as locked in and persistent as Buddy is being.
Yeah.
He likes his puzzle feeder.
Exactly. I love it. And you know, it's not you know, that's not Buddy's full diet that's been locked away in that puzzle feeder, and rest assured Buddy is going to clean that thing about as clean as it can be. But hey, I mean, just like we said, it's Buddy, he's keeping busy. I think there's no denying that our rescues are living in a captive environment. And then it's up to us to make sure that they have a stimulating and enriching environment. And something like this is certainly going to keep Buddy plugging away and tooling around, and we love seeing that.
And also, enrichment is not one size fits all. I often hear caretakers saying, oh, this cat likes this cat doesn't like that. And so these things are noted, and caretakers knew that Buddy would like a more complicated brain game.
Yeah.
And here he is. He's showing off.
Exactly. And I still think the Lynx are finishing up their meal, as a matter of fact. So we are going to hang out with you, Mr. Buddy. Barbara Stockley pointing out, it'll keep him interested for sure.
Yes.
You're going to have the cleanest paws here at the sanctuary, Mr. Buddy. After it's all said and done. Hey, Sydney Logan, thanks for joining us. Saying hi to myself and Olivia. Happy Monday to you. Yeah, there's no such thing as a case of the Mondays here at the Wildcat Sanctuary when you are around all these wonderful cats with wonderful stories supported by wonderful people.
And it's a sunny day today.
It is. Tanya, thank you for sharing this post and doing a little grassroots effort of helping people get educated through the Wildcat Sanctuary. That's, of course, in kind of the land of social media that we inhabit here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Easy, free, and effective way to help. It's just by liking, commenting, and sharing these posts when you see them. Truthfully, I have been happy to see that our live post numbers have been performing a little bit better. We're in the triple digits today, which is great to see.
That's awesome.
And as always, I know that so many of you are dedicated TWS supporters and followers, and I always appreciate everyone's patience when I get to remind maybe some of those who are new to TWS who we are and what we do. And we are the Wildcat Sanctuary. We are a forever home for rescued wildcats in need. We do not buy, we do not breed, we do not sell or trade any of our rescues. This is their forever home. We are a compassionate, accredited sanctuary who has been rescuing cats for 25 years. It's incredible. And of course, all supported through your donations and your efforts to make a compassionate life for 150 cats here, as well as those yet to come. And we are just so fortunate to have so many rescues under our umbrella here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We have touched so many in our 25 years of rescuing, and for you all to be an integral part of that equation. All right, Mr. Buddy. Let's see what those Lynxes are up to. Thank you, Faith, for adding our website there to the comments. And of course, talking about social media, we are not idle in terms of our social media presences. You can find us right here on Facebook. I mentioned earlier that we are live right now on our YouTube channel. Hey, pretty Tao. Hey, pretty girl. Yeah, I can tell you got the rumbly tummy.
Yes.
I can tell you got the rumbly tummy, and don't worry, you got some delicious foods coming to you today. And here's pretty Shadow. Hey, pretty girl, and a good morning to you, lovely lady. So right over here is Roar Ridge. See Shadow, Tao, that's Simon there. And so right across the way is going to be the lynx habitat. So caretakers, kind of a little inside, TWS inside info. Caretakers often refer to these sets of habitats as Roar Island. With Roar Ridge being over here as the central animal building, kind of making it bona fide Roar Ridge territory. And Roar Island, as this is referred to, is going to have the 2 bungalows with the 2 habitats. A little TWS insider info. Always like some of the kind of slang, if you will, that staff use. Let's see, I see a catnip ball, Olivia.
That's a new enrichment installment.
Exactly.
Here.
And I see a box, as well as this is a kind of origami paper square. Yeah, that is, you may see those made on a much smaller scale.
I was really impressed when I picked it up. I didn't realize it was paper.
There's not cardboard under there. That is just paper. And it's pretty darn cool.
Do you know who made that? What talented caretaker or intern
I'm afraid I don't know, and I'm remiss for not knowing. But I also have to say, kind of looking around the lynx habitat here, and I saw the caretaking staff. They were maybe trying to ask them to come out of their bungalow, but it looks like maybe they're still hanging out in their bungalow.
They might have full bellies.
Yeah, to each their own here. I know that we would love to see them out here taking advantage of their enrichment during our live, but nonetheless, we still have Buddy over there, and the stage is set for them to have fun. That just means Olivia, Timo, and I will make sure that we'll be back down here to document some of it.
Yeah, hang around a bit. I see some cougars.
Yeah, here, let's see if I can do this, Olivia. I'm using my cell phone, and it's got the super zoom.
Oh, yes, that's it. Oh.
Yeah, so...
Oh.
There's Gino grooming
yeah.
Sophie. And we would have proudly debuted the reuniting of mother and son last week. And these two have just been breaking our hearts in the best way possible. I mean, looking at that cam, seeing some of the grooming that they've been doing together, some of the playing that they've been doing together, knocking around the ball. It has been something that has been totally warming our collective hearts, and I'm just so happy that, maybe service won't let us go all the way over there, but I'm glad we got a little kind of dose of mother and son love, and Gino grooming Sophie.
I've been so impressed with Gino because he lived alone before. Sophie has obviously had companionship before in Gino's dad, Kimba, but Gino has been so respectful and really quickly easing his way into that relationship with his mother, and I love seeing him groom her.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Oh boy, yeah, it is very sweet to see. And then I also am liking, he gave her a good groom, and then he was like, hey, I'm gonna go sit over here. I like that too. Independence. She doesn't have to be too much of his shadow like Kimba was, but I'm sure she likes that as well. There's Beauty, the Eurasian lynx across the way. She says she's always down for seeing where the action is, and Olivia and I have been over here. Obviously, caretakers were over here, so she says, well, of course, I'm going to see what the people are up to. We're going to go check back in with Buddy, and Buddy, I am more than happy for you to steal the limelight this live post.
It's about time.
Yeah, I am just, exactly, I'm just so happy that you're enjoying yourself here, and that bobtail is still flickering and fluttering. Yeah, we'll get a different angle. I do like this in terms of just showing you Bobcat Buddy's space. Like I mentioned, there's that recycled culvert. You can only imagine when springtime comes and summer comes just how much a habitat that even in the winter months is giving him lots of natural cover. You can just imagine the explosion of green that happens. That's going to give Buddy even more spots to feel like a bobcat and truly get you know, what we call here a wild at heart experience. Julie Robbins pointing out Buddy is still loving his food puzzle. He sure is. That he is, and we are happy for you, Mr. Buddy. And Buddy was involved in some of the kind of musical bobcats. And when I say that, some of the bobcat mergers that we've tried, I know that, you know, just following along, you'd learn that on Tammy's Wildcat wrap-up, she kind of often talks about maybe play dates that didn't play out, but did happen. And Buddy certainly was one of those cats who we tried to see if he had any interest in living with anyone. And Buddy, I think you've kind of been tried with the whole gamut of female bobs. I think anyone from Athena to Brianna. He's certainly had a lot of potential partners, but Buddy has just made it clear that he's a little bit more of a solo bob, and that is totally fine. And welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, you are tuned in live to the Wildcat Sanctuary. This is Bobcat Buddy, one of our 150 rescued residents here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. He is living his best life, thanks to you all and what you do for cats like Buddy.
Look at that. I love the tail. I know you already mentioned it, Judson, but the tail on a bobcat says so much, and they communicate a lot through their tail. Not that other species don't, but that twitching tail is something to definitely watch on a bobcat. And I can only imagine that he's saying with that tail right now that he is thinking hard, like you mentioned, working hard, and definitely interested in what's going on.
Yeah. He says, I'm stimulated. Come down a little bit and the service gets funky. I keep on kind of looking across.
No,
keep on looking across to the Lynx.
They have full bellies.
Leanne, you're making me laugh. Look at his brown pants. It does kind of look like he's got a pair of cargo pants on. That's funny. Daria, you are darn tootin'. That must be some yummy chicken and tuna, little buddy. I agree, Daria. He is happy as a clam. And truthfully, Buddy he's not so little. But he's you know, I wouldn't say he's overweight or anything, but he's definitely one of our more big bone bobcats.
Yeah, he is.
You know, seeing him next to, he obviously has Meeko and Ripley across the way, and they have him, they're taller in stature, but I would not be surprised if Buddy is, you know, right around the same weight as them.
I agree. He definitely, other than height, he looks very similar in size to them.
Yeah, you're a big bob, Mr. Buddy. And tragically, one thing that happens in the captive breeding of bobcats and them being sold for profit is tragically some of these cats that are sold by breeders are knowingly meant to be killed and pelted for their fur. And tragically, these breeders understand that and try to breed larger bobcats. So they, the people who are purchasing them, you know, for lack of a better phrase, are going to have a better bang for their buck when they harvest these bobcats for their fur. So it's worth understanding the genetics that go into creating a bobcat like that, and that a wild bobcat is not going to be that large, and that a Buddy was curated purposefully by these exploiters. So they could.
Coats are different too than the wild bobs.
Yeah.
Much plusher. Everything is more exaggerated with these captive bred bobcats.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just you know, one of, you know, tragically, there's just kind of, you notice something with some of our rescues, and, you know, that's kind of one of the learning processes that I had is, you know, why is that like this or like this? And, you know, we don't want to be a loud type of answer wherever we go, but world of wildcats, often many times the things that you're noticing have kind of dark and sinister reasons for why they're happening. And that's always good to kind of illuminate, to understand some of those more nuanced things that kind of play into why these cats are facing what they face.
Judson.
What's happening?
I see a lynx.
Do you? Okay, dokey. Well, we'll head on over and check out what Meeko and Ripley are doing. Mr. Buddy, we've had such a wonderful time.
I can't tell for sure, but I'm gonna guess it's probably Ripley.
I am not going to bet against you because
Yeah.
I think it probably is Ripley
Probably
too.
is Ripley.
All right, we're making our way over. Meeko, I shouldn't say new anymore. This now
I know.
habitat that they've been in for about a month or so. I think we've caught them on a few live posts, and they have been coming into their own in this space, really doing a good job with maybe seeing some larger cats that they had never seen in some of the places they'd lived. They have obviously the 5 wild cougars right across the way, Simon and Jeremy over there as well, and they have been taking it in stride. They don't mind those big cats at all. If anything, I think they're curious by them, and it's kind of benefiting their experience down there. All right. Yes, it is exactly who I thought it was. We've got a lynx in a box here. This is Lynx Ripley. And Ripley, wonderfully named by caretaker Elise after Ripley from the Alien series. Sigourney Weaver playing one bad A chick, and we saw that playing out in Ripley's demeanor and personality and character, so we thought it was just a great combination.
Lynx in a box. There's nothing like it.
Lynx in a box. Oh, what a sight to see. It's good seeing those tufts kind of herking and jerking around. That's kind of the one thing I keep seeing here, with her head facing the opposite way, seeing those tufts go back and forth. Such a unique characteristic to those lynx. Bobcat's still going to have those ear tufts, but they're not going to be as long as the lynx ear tufts here. And welcome if you're just joining us. It is a wonderful Monday here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Rescued Lynx Ripley getting straight to work on an enrichment box that's been placed for her in her free roaming habitat. There's a variety of pieces of enrichment. We were just checking out Bobcat Buddy, who was enjoying some freshly placed food enrichment, or tuna enrichment with some chicken. And it's really just kind of a great kind of slice of life for a regular day here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Caretakers have a set of habitats, usually in a general area, that's on their cleaning schedule. That cleaning takes place, which then means that that's opportunity to place enrichment placed, and boom, you know, the cats are fed their meal, they've had their habitat cleaned, they have fresh enrichment placed, and then just kind of rotate that throughout the week for these different areas. And it's really just a great kind of order of operations as to how things work here, and how sweet that life can be for our rescues. I'm just looking at some comments here. Lisa Parker saying lynx eyes are so beautiful. They are rather beautiful, aren't they? Oh, Ellen Simmons, I couldn't agree more. Of fond memories of watching our beloved Ramsey do the same. And Ellen, I know that you're a sponsor of Ramsey, so I got to give you a shout out there. Thank you for extending your love to that special boy that we all love. And you're right. You know, Ramsey's getting a little longer in the tooth. He still enjoys his box time and scent enrichment, but you you know, it is appropriate to see a little kind of passing of the baton, if you will. And you know, maybe Ramsey giving his blessing that Meeko and Ripley can carry that Lynx in a box torch, just as he has for so long here at the Wildcat Sanctuary.
And he's just right across the way.
Exactly.
Probably curled up, sleeping in his cozy indoor bedroom, because that's where he likes to be in the mornings.
Well, Ellen, I need to give you another shout out. And Meeko and Ripley, they're also a member of your sponsor family. Wow. Ellen, you rock. That is so generous of you. And you got a pretty lynxy family there.
I know, you're a candidate lynx lover, yeah. Clearly.
Yeah, lynx lover over here. And this is also, you know, worth kind of mentioning, talking about kind of the pace and what's happening here. And if we weren't here, and what Ripley would be doing is exactly that. She's went through one box. She went through another box. We had kind of rubbed, there's a catnip ball in there, and I was kind of rubbing that on some of the pieces of wood. I'm sure eventually she will come up and check out this box. And it's just all an act of checking out the new and exciting various things that have been placed in her habitat. So there's another catnip ball on kind of a tube, cardboard tube, little structure there with some newspaper in there. And the day is young, Miss Ripley, and we're happy that we got to catch a little bit of your fun.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it was a good dose of, you know, of life. Or rather slice of life here, in that you know, maybe sometimes things are a slow burn like we've seen with the Lynx here, and sometimes they're a little bit more immediate like we saw with Buddy and his enrichment over yonder. So all types of different things happening, and all kind of curtailed or individualized to the cat in question.
Oh, she sees
I think
shadow.
She sees probably shadow.
Yeah.
And here's Mr. Jeremy. Hey, Jer Bear. Yeah, and so here's Ripley.
Definitely shadow.
Kind of stalking. Ripley's doing the stalking of Shadow, who is just politely sitting in the sun in her habitat. You can see her right there. You know, and this is something that certainly the caretaking staff were aware of, and during you know, when they're kind of doing these merger evaluations, that's obviously one thing that they're looking for, how these cats going to react to each other. And them kind of just understanding that when Ripley's doing this, she's just being very, very curious about it. She's not over fixating or getting herself worked up. This is just her being curious, and obviously Shadow being our oldest rescue here, we don't want her to get too worked up and potentially injure herself. And so it's obviously something that we've already kind of done our due diligence on, but still fun to see it unfold in front of us, and for you to kind of truly see how benign it is.
For sure. And Ripley's world before rescue was so small. Her
Yeah.
entire existence was in a very, very small enclosure with no enrichment, hardly anything. She saw the same thing for basically 2 years of her life. And so curiosity is such a beautiful thing with these rescues, especially with a relatively recent rescue like Ripley. She's seeing trees, grass, enrichment for the first time. She's also seeing really different looking cats from her and the other cats she's seen. And so it's cool for Ripley to expand her world and do so in not an overexerted way. It's really incredible to see.
And I have to commend Ripley on this stock. I mean,
me too. It's really
well. I mean, I don't think we've ever. You know, I think we're quick to talk about Dash and his stalking, and Indy and her stalking.
Is Ripley coming
Nova,
for the title?
You know, the fact that I haven't heard one leaf crunch under those feet. I haven't heard one twig or something move. She pretty much traveled about 15 or 20 feet without making a peep, without making a noise. It makes me think about if that was a wild version or Ripley's wild counterpart. I mean, how stealthy was that? That was so cool to see, and really gives you some some perspective as to how effective a Canada lynx like Ripley could be in the wild.
And Shadow's cracking me up too. She's clearly been around the block a time or two because she hasn't moved at all either. She's just observing her neighbor, taking it in.
Yeah, Shadow says,
it's a regular Monday morning.
Well, there's some other small gray bobtail cat over there.
Yeah, I've seen one of those.
Yeah, she says, no biggie, nothing I can't handle. I'll tell you what, you move a tiger next to me, I might have another thing to say. Daria asking, who is adjacent of the lynx, right next to Shadow? That'd be Tao. You guessed that right. You guessed that right. And we've kind of had a little bit of a longer
I know, this is
sanctuary stroll here, but nonetheless, I'm still enjoying myself, and we've certainly seen a lot happening. Bobcat Buddy, thank you for the moon, Mr. Simon. Bobcat Buddy enjoying his puzzle feeder. That'd be Canada Lynx Ripley, not only enjoying some of the enrichment that's been placed for her, as well as some of the enrichment that lives around her in the form of Shadow, Black Leopard Shadow. I think I want to make my way back over to Buddy, and we might call that a live post for the day. I'm glad we were enjoying ourselves, or at least I've been enjoying myself. I hope you all have been. But it's cool to think that I may be ending this live post here on Facebook, but you still have a live stream that is beaming right down on the Ukraine Pride if you go to watchwildcats.com until 5 p.m. today. So exciting to think that, hey, we're ending things on Facebook, but the party has been happening on YouTube since 10 a.m. and is going to keep on going until 5 p.m. this evening. All right. Daniel's going to get me singing if he keeps posting lyrics like that. But we are doing a little walking. Buddy, you have just been busy as a bee, and I am so happy to see that. Sydney Logan exclaiming, I love all the cats. Sydney, that is probably one of the darn hardest questions that I get asked here is, Judson, who's your favorite cat? And there's no question that I like to run away from more than that question. And I choose what you just did, is I love all of them. Because I could just go off on little Buddy here. I could go off on Tao across the way. I mean, all of them are just so unique and special for their own right. And I just have to share the love accordingly. Just scrolling through a few more comments. Simon Jones asking, how are my faves Indy and Nova doing? Life is good over in Tiger Cub Corner in Wild Woodlands. Indy and Nova living their best lives. I'll admit, I think I've mentioned this before, that it's been a little bit of a non-wintry winter, and we missed out on a lot of snow this year. Admittedly, I would have liked for Nova, or rather Indy, was her first winter living wild at heart here. I would have liked her to get some deep snow, because some of the tigers really do like the deep snow that they can run through. But nonetheless, the gals are doing fine and are as happy as can be, just as you would expect. So thank you for keeping your thoughts with them. I think I hear Winona talking to Thor Jr. through their shared wall. But hey, everyone, I'm thinking that we had ourselves a nice live post today, and I appreciate everyone tuning in today. And remember that the live is still happening, at least not like this, but streaming from a fixed camera on our YouTube channel. That's just watchwildcats.com. It's going to be the Ukraine Pride all week. And I bet we're going to have lots of hijinks to laugh about collectively after all watching that. So, hey, I want to thank you everyone for tuning in today. I had an awesome time tuning in with Bobcat Buddy here, who is definitely a sight for sore eyes on our live post. Buddy lives a wonderful life here, but one that he likes not stepping into the limelight too much. So I'm glad that we got a dose of Buddy. I know that there's plenty of sponsors out there and people who care about cats like Buddy who might not make their way onto the social media sphere. So we appreciate your patience nonetheless, and we appreciate you getting as excited as I am in moments like this when we get to see cats we don't get to see as often. So thank you everyone again, and I want you to have a great rest of your Monday, and we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary soon.
Bye, everyone.